They said time walked slower in Willowmere, not because the clocks ticked differently, but because the mountain air carried something strange, a soft silence, as if the world whispered instead of shouted. People grew old slowly. Memories stuck around like morning mist, and dreams. Well, dreams were stronger then, and in the heart of that town, nestled between a crooked bakery and a library that hadn't received a new book in 50 years, stood a small shop with a cracked wooden sign that read, Elric and Time. Repairs of the unusual. The owner, Elric Wren, was nearly 100 years old, but hadn't aged a day in the last 30. Some said he had found the secret to stopping time, a melted grandfather clock that ticked only when no one looked at it. Unlike the others, Jonah liked silence, and stories, and clock. So, when he first saw Elric's shop, something pulled him toward it like gravity. "I was wondering when you'd come," he said. And then there was the one, a golden clock, hidden beneath a velvet cloth on a dusty shelf, never sold, never wound, and always cool to the touch. The smell hit him first: old wood, oil, and something like lavender. Others claimed he was already a ghost, fixing clocks out of habit. Elric taught him 2 oil gears, replace springs, and understand the heartbeats of time. The shop, filled with ticking and humming, felt alive. Each clock had a name, a rhythm, a story, but every child in Willowmere knew 2 things about him. He was the best clockmaker in the valley, and he never, ever slept. Inside his shop were hundreds of clocks, tall ones that whispered chimes like lullabies, tiny ones with silver hands that moved backwards. It was the dream clock, but no one really believed it worked until Jonah arrived. He thought about the clock, about Elric's eyes when he said dangerous, and before he could stop himself, he was slipping out of bed, down the orphanage hall, and out into the night. Jonah was 11, sharp-eyed, and fiercely curious. He lived at the Willowmere orphanage for boys, a creaky old building full of rules, noise, and boredom. One rainy afternoon, while skipping chores, he crept into the shop, bell jingling overhead. Elric sat behind the counter, polishing a pocket watch with slow, careful hands. He looked up without surprise. Jonah froze. "What?" Elric smiled. "You're curious. You walk like a question mark. You've stared at my window for weeks. Come in." And just like that, Jonah did. A keyhole shimmered at its base, like an eye waiting to open. Over the next weeks, Jonah became a regular visitor, but Jonah always wondered about the golden one on the shelf. "You never touched that one," he said one evening. Elric looked up from his tools. "Because it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to dreams." Jonah laughed. "What does that mean?" "It means," Elric said softly, "it's dangerous." That night, Jonah couldn't sleep. The rain tapped the windows like impatient fingers. The clock shop wasn't locked. It never was. Jonah stepped inside. The clocks ticked louder in the dark, as if warning him. He went straight to the golden one. It was beautiful, round, with etched stars and moons, its face showing not numbers, but symbols. And beside it, a key. Elric had always said, some clocks don't need winding, they need permission. Above him, floating islands drifted through space, shaped like castles, books, and giant sleeping animals. Jonah hesitated. But curiosity is stronger than caution. He turned the key. Click. The clock groaned like something waking up. Its hand spun wildly. The shop shook. The velvet cloth blew off like a gust of wind. And then silence. Total. And then darkness. And then not. Jonah opened his eyes. He was not in the shop. He stood on a bridge of glass, suspended in a sky full of stars. Below him, oceans of glowing clouds swirled. A voice whispered, not in his ear, but in his mind, "Welcome to the Dreamscape, Jonah. The clock is broken, and time is running out."